I'm a 15-year-old kid, and I have had diabetes, and I could not walk since I was 5 years old. The only way for me to have a normal life and continue my teenage years normally is through stem cell research, which a lot of people see as unethical and unmoral. But I hope people would open their minds and give stem cell research a second try.
Well, they say it would work like this. Start with an egg from a woman's ovary, remove its genes or DNA, then take a cell, like a skin cell, from a patient and put its DNA into the egg. This is called nuclear transfer. Add a few chemicals and the egg starts to divide just like a fertilized egg. After a few days, it becomes a blastocyst, a ball of about 50 to 200 cells. If you wanted to clone a person, then you'd have to place the blastocyst in a woman's uterus. A similar process was used to create the famous
Bravo says he's one step away from making a clone of another person. Our Dave Spencer takes a look at what this means for the future of medicine in today's top story.
It may sound like science fiction.
This is history in the making.
But for the past 6 or 7 years, cloning a human being has been a life ambition for Dr. Panos Zavos.
That's what keeps me alive, is that I'm doing fascinating things.
Dr. Zavos says he's doing this for a very specific purpose.
For people that don't have eggs and sperm and they don't want to borrow their neighbor's sperm or eggs, I think that the cloning modality is a viable issue and a viable choice for them.
He calls the process reprogramming.
What we do is that we take a cell from you, from the person that we want to create. We take the eggs from the woman, we remove the DNA, and we pull the whole DNA molecule that we get from the man or the woman that we want to procreate.
Saying it's quite similar to reproduction the natural way, with a slight twist.
Body cells, not sexual cells, the egg or the sperm.
A process he's done already in 11 separate embryos. None, however, have produced the desired effect.
The chapter that we want to write is to continue transferring until we get a pregnancy.
But that's not to say he won't be able to describe what a finished product or success story would look like.
This will be a lateral or a lateral-born twin.
Critics, and there are more than a few, argue the potential for abuse is there. Dr. Zavos says any new technology can be abused, and this one is in need of strong regulation. But he says he'll just concentrate on the science end.
I'm interested in treating infertility. That's it. No more, no less.
In Lexington, Dave Spencer, WKYT 27 News First.
Dr. Zavos says he's been extremely busy touring the globe and raising awareness on his research and recent breakthroughs.
Hi, my name is Carrie McIntosh, and I teach and write in the fields of assisted reproduction, cloning, and genetic engineering. As a center scholar, one of my goals is to challenge orthodox views of these technologies. For example, there's been some recent medical research which indicates that children conceived through in vitro fertilization and related technologies have a slightly higher rate of birth defects and other health problems. Now, the orthodox view of this data is to say there ought to be a law. The government needs to step in and regulate these technologies and perhaps even ban some of them. But if you sit down and actually delve deeper into the medical literature, what you find is that certain men and women have characteristics that not only make them infertile, but also make them more likely to have children with health problems. In other words, the technology isn't to blame. So there's a very interesting historical parallel here, one that I draw in my scholarship. It wasn't that long ago that the government actually sterilized disabled men and women to prevent them from transmitting health problems to their children. So what I do in my scholarship is argue that we shouldn't impose government restrictions on IVF and similar technologies, because if we did that, we would simply be forcing the equivalent of mandatory sterilization upon infertile men and women who really can't have children in any other way, and we should reject this brave new eugenics.
Because we believe in the principles of ethical medicine. As we seek to improve human life, we must always preserve human dignity. Advances in biomedical technology must never come at the expense of human conscience. Is deeply troubling to me and to most Americans. Life is a creation, not a commodity.